Okay, hi everyone. I'm joined here with Danny Potter now, former Stevenage goalkeeper, former Cambridge United goalkeeper, in fact, as well. But we'll let that one slide. So, how's things, Dan? You all right, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, good. Thanks. I thought when we agreed 5 o'clock, I've got to be somewhere at 10 past. So I thought, well, we've only got like 4 games to talk about. So in the quick season, so I thought 10 minutes is going to be long enough, isn't it? You needed like an hour and a half for Jules, but 10 minutes.
Yeah, you literally got a shoot in a minute, have you? You literally got really quick.
No, I'm only joking,
No?
mate. I'm only joking.
That's all right, mate. So we'll start off really with what was the main sort of reasons behind why you joined up with Stevenage? Obviously, Stimo was the manager in charge at the time. And I think you were his second signing, if I'm correct, that he brought in.
Yeah, I think it came at a point. I think I'd had 3 or 4 good seasons at Canby. We'd done quite well for a small place, if you like.
Yeah.
Try and be as respectful as we can, but enjoyed every minute of it there. It was great. It gave me a chance to get back to living in Ipswich. And then Jeff King decided he wanted to move on and took over at Chelmsford. Asked me to go there. Wasn't overly happy with kind of the what he wanted me to sign. Felt I probably deserved a bit more at that point. I was working part-time on a building site, playing for Canby, and at that point, I mean, financially, to come to Stevenage, it didn't really make sense. It was quite a big cut from what I was on with my job, but my kids were young. They were in school, primary school, and at that stage, mate, I just wanted to have a chance of getting back into the full-time game and give me that opportunity to pick my kids up from school. Obviously played against Stimo and Scotty when they were at Grays, and just really fancied playing for him. I'm really good friends with Bezo from my Exeter days. So I just wanted to go down and give it a go and see where we went. It was quite funny actually, because I remember just before I signed there, or I was going down for talks at the ground just after Stimo had taken over. Yeah, I was working on a building site and I put a disc cutter straight through my face here.
Oh,
down to the bone, took 2 teeth out, and chin was hanging outside, like something like 63 stitches. So I remember going down there and getting into the boardroom with Stimo and Scotty, just turning up. I just shaved my hair. And I had this big scar down my face, and I thought, but thinking like, who's this thug we got coming in here? You know, had to explain everything, and and that was Keatsy's first job actually. I think every day at training he used to have to bring out the sunblock. So he used to have to put the sunblock over the scar every day. For the first week or so, any shot that came in training, I was like trying to cover my face with one hand. And I think I thought I'd sign in some sort of thug, mate. But so that's kind of how it came about, mate. Stimo spoke to me and Scotty had spoke to me, and I just wanted the opportunity to go full time, and it tied in well with the kids. And like I said, just to play for them guys. And I knew it's a great little stadium. And the players they were signing and they were telling me we were going to sign, I was quite excited, really.
Okay, and then obviously you mentioned about Stimo there. What was it like playing under Stimo? What was he like as a gaffer, like as manager and that?
It was brilliant. It was brilliant. It was the good thing with Stimo is you could have a laugh, but you knew when to rein it in.
Yeah,
you knew when you could have a laugh. You knew when you had to be serious. And I think from Stimo's point of view, as long as you were putting the work in, he was fine. He was good. The banter was flying. We had a great bunch of boys. It was a fun year. We didn't achieve what we wanted to achieve. We wanted to at least get playoffs as a minimum. Yeah, missed out on that, but obviously had a great end to the year. So
of course, with the trophy final, and of course, when I spoke to AJ, he said that he's got a photo of, I think it's him and yourself with the trophy, and obviously, he played all of the minutes in there. You were just on the bench and whatnot. You didn't get any game time in the trophy, did you? But
no, I don't think I got any game time at all, really.
Rarely.
Listen, mate, it's a squad. I was always told it's a squad game, football.
Yeah,
it's a squad game, So no, I didn't play.
I was looking earlier though for a couple of pictures and stuff from the trophy final, and there's the one with you and Stevie Morrow.
Yeah. It was a great day. I think that the way it came about as well after being down at half time, I think for was it Dobbo or Mitch who got the first goal? Can't remember, but it was almost like we just kind of steamrolled. Second half, we just everything seemed to click. The work rate was lifted. The the desire was there again, and I think if it had gone on, I think Kitty were probably lucky it didn't go on another 10, 15 minutes, because I think we would have gone on and probably got another couple.
Yeah, I think that's probably true as well. I think
we deserved it, though. We deserved it on the day. Yeah. I think we deserved. I think over the course of the season, we deserved it. We deserved something from that season with the team we had. With the team we had, the squad we had, the morale that was within the camp. I think we deserved it to come away with something.
Yeah, I think it was typical, really, of that trophy campaign. The fact that Morrow popped up with a winner in the 89th minute. I think it was 88th, 89th minute.
Yeah.
And it was, it was just a typical of how that trophy campaign went. And of course, that was the third one that Stimo won as well, because he won the two with Graves previously.
Yeah, of course he had. Yeah. I think, like I said, we deserved something out of it, and it was probably. We had a good squad that year. We had a lot of youth. We had a lot of experience as well mixed in with it. And I think at times through the season when things were tough and they were a little bit slow, it was, which was quite early on, actually. It was tough early on. It wasn't the greatest start to the season. So, but then I think we went on, was it 20 games or something stupid, wasn't it? We just.
With the unbeaten run you want about? Yeah.
We And was that the year Jules had the clean sheet record?
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah.
I wanted to drop that in because there was a reason why I didn't play.
Absolutely. But we spoke about it earlier anyway when I was talking to you on Messenger and stuff. Like when you're competing against somebody of Jules' ability and his quality, it's it makes it that much more difficult to get into the side, doesn't it? Especially with that, you're only fighting for one spot as well.
It is tough, but I mean, I signed there knowing that Jules had won Player of the Year, I think 2 or 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
But it didn't faze me. I'd played against Jules. I'd seen, been and watched games as well that I wasn't involved in. I just used to like to go out and watch a game if I could, if I didn't have a game. And I always felt like I was as good, if not better, with regards to certain aspects of both of our games.
Yeah.
Jules' shot stopping was phenomenal. I mean, some of the saves that he made were just ridiculous.
That's right, yeah.
But I always had that ability to turn defence into attack quite quickly. And that's not a case of just going long ball. That's a case of picking someone out and...
Yeah, going out to the fullbacks and... Yeah.
And I think I knew how Stimo wanted to play, and then pre-season was really touch and go. And it was funny because it's only when I started training with Jules every day that you actually realise. I remember going in there thinking, I'm confident at starting the season. I think I'm better in certain aspects of our games. And then I went in training and I remember thinking, shit, this is going to be tough. This is going to be...
That's right. And
there's a reason why.
he's good. Yeah.
And it hit me. And I think when you go and watch a game, you can watch a game or see a game on telly and you think, he's a good keeper. He's good.
Yeah.
But when you're seeing it every day and his attitude and his work rate and everything, it's no surprise that he went on and had such a good career. But I think the thing that probably tipped it was the Tottenham home game in pre-season. I think he made something like 14 saves in the first half. I think, and I think that probably was the one game that kind of tipped it in my favour. That probably, because I honestly don't think between the two of us in pre-season there was any difference in either of our performances, and it's probably given Stimo a real headache. And me then starting the season, then getting sent off. Jules coming in, there was just I couldn't. For probably 3-4, I couldn't see how I was going to get in, and then I think we were playing.
Speaking of devil,
here he is, Top man Jules, legend. So then we were playing away at it's 2 T's for Potsy, by the way, Jules. Chicken can't spell though, can they? So we'll let him on. So then we were playing a work.
Don't talk to me about chickens. I got attacked by one when I was about 3 or 4 years old. So that's a story for another day. But
then we played away. So I was just sat on the bench. I worked hard every day in training, and I think I'd like to think that it pushed Jules on. to perform
Yeah.
even better.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a game that we were playing away on a Tuesday night, I think, at Burton.
Yeah.
And I think it was Burton. I should remember, I only played 4 games. And
Burton was one of the ones you played in, yeah.
It was on the Tuesday night. And I remember, for me, I think as a keeper, you have to have 3-4 bad games or offish games to have a chance of getting left out, really.
Yeah.
Difficult position.
Yeah.
And Jules had 3 games where he wasn't a 9 or a 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when I say Jules had 3 bad games, I'm probably talking he had an 8 3/4.
Okay. Yeah.
And for me, I saw that as the only opportunity of the season of me possibly getting back in and getting a chance.
Yeah.
So I went and knocked on Simo's door on the Monday morning, and I went, Gaffer, can I have a word? He went, yeah, no problem, come in. So I went in, Scotty's there, and he said, what's up? I went, I just want to put it in your head, let you know now, I'm expecting to play tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
Said, that's all I've got to say. He said, why? I went, all I'm saying is I'm expecting to play tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I came out thinking, there's no chance. There's no chance of me ever, getting in. Jules has been brilliant all season. And then we got to Burton and I was starting.
Yeah.
And I remember it was a frozen pitch. And like my distribution was the strongest part of my game.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
And I just remember being up there and the first goal kick, it was like my standing foot just went. I just couldn't get any grip on the pitch at all. My studs weren't. And every kick, it was going like 2 foot off the ground. It was embarrassing. And then I think one of their goals, I went to push off and it went in about 3 yards inside the post. And I'm thinking, wow. And I remember with about 20 minutes ago thinking, that's it. That's my chance. That's kind of gone. Jules is going to be back in. And then it happened. Jules went back in for the next game and that was him for the rest of the season. And
that's right. I think you made no
arguments. You can have no arguments.
No, yeah. I was going to say you made the 3 appearances there at the start of the season in quick succession. I think it was the Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, basically, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you weren't back in for the 4th one until I think it's about November time, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, it was frozen pitch, so it's probably November, late November, I reckon. Yeah, but we had
the last one for the season. Yeah.
We were brilliant, mate, and I've never been happy not playing ever.
No.
And I wouldn't say I was happy not playing at Stevenage, but there, Stimo and the rest of the lads, you had a great way of, even if you weren't playing, you felt like you were a major part of what was going on.
Yeah.
And I think that went for everyone in the squad. I mean, I don't think there was anyone. I think there was arguments. There was arguments in the way of training every day because you want to win. You want to, you want to do.
Oh, 100%. Most of the players would have played how they trained and trained how they played, vice versa. So,
yeah. And we never ever argued as people off the training pitch or off the pitch. And it was brilliant. But we had games we used to play. The dressing room was ridiculous. I mean, we had obviously had our squad numbers. So it starts off like Jules will remember. So beginning of the season, the first day, squad number 1, so it'd be Jules, he'd have to buy like the toast, the milk, the cereal, Marmite, peanut butter, whatever, for breakfast for all the lads in the morning. So that didn't come from the club, that came from the players. We'd buy it ourselves.
Okay, all right.
Then day number 2, Jules had a stinker because he had to buy everything. And then day number 2 was just top up the milk or day number 3. But it was ruthless. So if you put the butter knife in the Marmite, it was something like a £25 fine.
Oh, that's quite a lot then, actually.
Because it was all about discipline and not.
Yeah.
That's looking back, is probably what it was. As much as it was probably Millsy trying to kind of just build the pot up for the end of season holiday. It was and Jules was brilliant. So you know him well. You've known him a few years. You know he's very competitive. Yeah. So end of training every day. I tried to make it every day. Like I said, I didn't sign at Stevenage on the biggest money. No. It's quite a big cut from my job and my previous club. So I had to try and make it up somehow. So what we'd do is end of training, I'd get the 5 who I thought were the 5 most competitive people, and we'd just have a penalty shootout. So it'd be, right, Jules, you get 5 penalties. If I save one or you miss one, it's you owe me a tenner.
Okay. Yeah.
If you score 5, I owe you. So we do this.
Yeah.
So Jules would tell you I'd save one or he'd miss one. So it's a tenner. I'd be like, double or quits, Jules? He'd be like, yeah. United like hates losing. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
He'd lose 20 quid, and he'd go one more, 40 quid.
Yeah.
And then you get 2 or 3 players like doing it. So that was like how I kind of made up my money. But I used to try and tuck Jules into it every day because I knew without fail. And he'd be going, no, I can't do it. I lost the last 2 days. I can't do it. He'd come back for more every time. You could suck him in. He was brilliant. I
love that. So who were your 5 then that you'd go with?
Nutsy.
Yeah.
Would have a go. Millsy never did.
No.
I think Baz might have had a go. I think Mitch used to do it. Jules will tell me if I've forgotten anyone. I'm trying to think who else. Was there. Dobbo. But Dobbo thought that he could do anything. That's just
absolutely. Like he was signed more because of his sort of skills factor, wasn't he? More than anything else, I think.
I might be wrong, but I think he was like Ronaldo's for the Pepsi adverts. I think.
I think it was a double.
It was funny, Dobbo, because you could give him the ball in a game, and it'd have like no opposition player within 30 yards of him, and they'd just start doing step overs, and you're just like, what are you doing? I think it was just so he felt that he was getting people looking at him, that he was being watched, and he just loved it. He was the nicest kid. He was such a nice boy. But like I said, everyone was. There wasn't a bad egg in the place at all. And then we obviously had Gups come in as well, and it was just, I've never known. We used to go, Gups, you're a millionaire, mate. What are you doing wearing them trains? He goes, I'm not a millionaire. I'm multi like this. So that's it was all in this like. It was just brilliant. Just someone to go, Gups, you're a millionaire. Excuse me, multi. But it'd come in. So you have your trainers that you wear in running in pre-season. You come in your normal gear, normal clothes, get changed into your training gear. Gups used to come in his tracksuit, jeans, whatever, with trainers, go out and run in the trainers he came in and then wear them home. Like it was just, there was no airs and graces about him. He was down to earth. He was just help the young boys. He'd stay out for 20 minutes after while me and Jules are doing our kicking. He'd be the other one staying out doing whipping crosses in. And he'd played Champions League and won the the SPL.
Yeah, the SPL, and played in the Premier and that.
Played for England, and he was a great example to everyone.
And we've got Kieran's in, the Kieran Feetham, the old physio.
Couldn't save heady pens. What?
I don't know what he means by that, to be fair, but yeah.
Whose pens? If they were his, I didn't even have to dive because he never hit the target.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He didn't have the best. He didn't have the best techers in the world. Great physio. Great little. Gave a great massage, but yeah, he didn't have the best techers in the world. Bless him.
So
and he struggled to get a tan. He struggled to get a tan as well. I remember him going on holiday. I come back. I thought he sunbathed in a tunnel for a week. It was either that or we had a wetsuit on. One or the other.
Probably both, knowing Kieran, to be fair.
What a guy.
Peter Heady, apparently.
Peter Heady?
I don't know what he means by that.
I don't know. He's probably talking through Siri and is picking up the wrong name.
Probably.
More than likely, mate.
But no, so, what was it like competing against Jules? Obviously, when I spoke to Alan, he said there was a couple of stories. I think there was one time when he was playing, and I think, was it you said something to his dad in regards to how can I compete against that?
Yeah, I think that was a home game. I think we, because I was warming up. I only used to go out probably for one little jog in the first half and one in the second, just in case anything happened. And I remember going out, and it had to be literally just as I was warming up. Jules pulls off an absolute worldie, and I saw his dad, and I just kind of threw my hands in the air and went, what can I do? How am I going to get in with him? Yeah. But I wanted him, if we, after a game, I was the first person. I always made a habit of walking onto the pitch, heading straight for Jules after a game. I wanted to be the first one to, tell him he'd done well, or if he did make a mistake, I wanted to be the first one to say, doesn't matter. Yeah. The guys out there have each made 15 mistakes this game. Each, whether
Yeah.
that's giving a ball away or being out of shape or whatever it is. I said, you made one mistake. Don't worry. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You know, I wanted to be the one to lift him. We had Scotty, which was obviously great, having a goalkeeper as an assistant manager. But me and Jules had a good relationship. And I did same as I did with Bezo when I was at Exeter. You know, Bezo played at 2 teams.
So another one that can't spell Potsy, right?
Love you too, Feats, man. So yeah, Bezo, me and him had a great relationship right back from our Exeter days when I was like 19.
Yeah.
And used to go around his house and yeah, used to stay at Feats' house, Kieran's house when I come to Stevenage. It was quite a trek actually from Ipswich to Stevenage every day. Signed and didn't quite realise how far it was, but to do that every day was a bit of a trek. But yeah, Keith's a great guy. So yeah, I got on great with Jules. Loved him.
Would you say he was one of your best friends at the club? Because there's a question there from Jordan. So who was your best friend? Would you say it was Jules, or was there a couple of others as well?
Jules and probably Millsy.
Yeah.
Adam Miller. We used to travel in. So I'd drive from Ipswich to Braintree or near Braintree where Millsy was living at the time. And then we'd go from there. And Daryl McMahon as well.
Yeah.
We'd travel in. But I think it was a really tight squad. So I'd probably say Millsy and Jules were the closest. We'd speak about, you know, it'd be different things. Millsy was a hilarious guy. He was brilliant. Loved him to bits. But,
I've spoken to Millsy as well. I love Millsy to bits. Millsy is, you know, he says it how it is. You know, if he's got something he wants to say, he doesn't care.
He doesn't, but he's also got a very sensitive side that not a lot of people see. He can come across as being quite tough, quite rash, but he's also someone that if you've got an issue, you can talk to him. You know, I've had some really, you know, you can talk to him and he'll have your back. He'll give you some great advice. You know, I haven't spoke to Adam for about 3 years, but yeah, miss him. He's a really, really good guy. Life's just unfortunately things come up and take control of your life, and it's a bad excuse, but yeah, lost touch of him about 3 years ago. But yeah, great.
He was saying in regards to his business and stuff as well, that the fact he's selling on cars to people at the minute. And he's done sales with quite a lot of decent names actually in the professional game as well. He sold cars to some big-ish names. So
yeah, when I finished the game for a little bit, I went and worked for him.
Yeah,
just delivering a few cars. And yeah, loved working for him. He's a very driven person, so exactly the same as he was on the pitch. He's taken that into the business side as well, and I'm sure he's doing brilliantly well. He deserves everything.
Got a question here from Craig. Any decent pranks that you pulled, and who were they on?
I don't think, to be honest, I was a bit of a joker, but I think the biggest pranks were Millsy. Millsy was we kind of just left it to him and tried to claim some, but I wasn't really, I don't know, Jules might remember a couple of pranks, I don't know, but mate, it was so long ago. I think you were saying earlier on when it was 14 years since I made 14 years.
This coming Wednesday, 14 years since you made your debut at Stevenage. Yeah, against Altrincham.
Craig, listen, mate, I'm 41 now. My mind's going and all sorts, mate. There's a lot happened in the last 14 years, but pranks wise, there were some. It might come to me later on, but I can't really remember too many. We left it to me.
Fair enough. Question from Russ there. Did you ever play any outfield positions, or were you always a goalie? Did you always want to be a goalkeeper?
No, I was actually a left back for Ipswich Town till I was 15.
Okay.
14, 15. So I was in the same, grew up right through the thing with Kieran Dyer. He was at my age group.
Yeah.
To pick him up. My dad used to pick Kieran up. We'd take him to games and training. And then I got let go. I think I was 14 or just turned 15. And then I only went in goal for one game, and there was a Chelsea scout there. And then I go to Chelsea and ended up going to a few other clubs on trial. And then signed a contract at Chelsea. So it was weird going in there and not having had any goalkeeper training or anything ever. I'd only played, I think, maybe 10 games in goal when I signed. So yeah, that's probably where, you know, what it helped me later on. Actually, I mean, I think back then there wasn't many that could really play with their feet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was my strength. as long as a cross didn't come into the box, I had to come and take. I was fine. If it was a back pass, it was fine. And it was good having that grounding as an outfield player, and not just about how I dealt with the ball, but distribution wise as well. I understood what a fullback wanted or where they wanted to receive the ball, and about receiving it safe side, and you don't want the ball bouncing up in front of you. So that definitely helped.
Craig said, "You don't look a day over 40." There you go.
Appreciate it, mate.
But no, in terms of some of the guys that you played with, one of the ones that you played with there was Barry Fuller, and obviously Barry's just left Gillingham again. Was it Friday, a couple of days ago?
Yeah.
So what was it like playing with Barry in that side, and the likes of Nutsy and Miller and Ronnie, of course, as well?
I just found that Baz was probably one of the most underrated players. Never seemed to. I never really heard him get spoken about. You hear people say, "Oh, he's a little warrior," or "He's a fighter," and But if you look back, that season, I can't remember many people getting past him and putting a cross in the box.
No, I don't think there was. I think he was more than capable, and he done a job every game really. So
yeah, he was fantastic, and I think. Again, no surprise he's gone on to have the career he's had, and pretty much been captain at every club he's been at, I think. I actually saw him. I went down and watched Ipswich against Gillingham last season.
Okay,
and I saw him as he was walking off the pitch. Had a quick hello to him. But he was brilliant. But he didn't get the credit he deserved on the ball as well. He always seemed to pick the right pass. He knew when to clear his lines. He knew when he could pop it into a midfielder. And Baz was a great player. Actually surprised he didn't go even higher than he did.
I think that's right as well.
I don't think there were many better.
No, not at all. Not at that level of football where we were playing back at that time as well in 2006, I think it was. And him and Nutsy, there's quite a few of them that Dimo brought across with him to Gillingham, weren't there, in the first place?
Yeah,
as well.
I think Nutsy was brilliant as well. Great lad, great professional, real family man as well.
Yeah.
He was same with Ronnie. Both leaders, but Nuts was a leader in a different way. So Nuts didn't really say an awful lot, but what he said, when he spoke, you listened.
Yeah.
Great left foot, great defender. And I think if you look at our back four at Altrincham in my debut, I think was Ronnie. I think it was Ronnie at right back, Luke Oliver, Santos.
Yeah.
And Nuts, and then I
think so.
Millsy. I think Millsy played in midfield with Baz, didn't he? I think Baz started in midfield that game.
I can tell you the exact lineup. If you give me 1 second, I can grab it up on here for you.
And then we had Dobbo, Boydie.
Yeah, I think Nursey was playing. Tony Thorpe was playing. Yeah.
And Stampy up front as well.
Let's see. You've probably got that mostly right, to be fair.
So I can remember a starting lineup, but I can't remember a prank. How about that's what you call selective memory.
Let's have a look. Yeah, so the game against Altrincham, I've got it in front of me here. So obviously yourself, you were in goal, and then we had Baz was playing, Luke Oliver, Santos, Nutsy, Dobbo, Millsy, Ronnie, Tony Thorpe, Stampy, and then the other one, the goal scorer on that day was Boydie.
Yeah. I remember their goal. Actually. Their goal. I think their first goal was a corner, and the guy just came in and volleyed it top corner from about 8 yards out. And I thought this is going to be one of them days now. But we battered them that day, especially second half. I think we absolutely battered them. I think Stuart Coburn in goal for Altrincham pulled off about 5 worldies. I remember. I think we brought on Sully up front.
Yeah, Chris come on and Nursey come on. Yeah.
I think Sully came on up front and he hit one from about 20 yards bottom corner. Stuart Coburn got a full hand to it, but put it straight out about 5 yards out. And Nursey had the whole goal, and I think he just smashed it straight at the keeper again. And it just seemed like it was going to be one of them afternoons where we could have been there another 3-4 hours and wouldn't have scored again.
Yeah.
But you reel off that team. There's probably a team strong enough and a squad strong enough to win the league, really. And that's
If you look at those players, you can see, Boyd's his quality. Stampy, Millsy, Dobbo was in there, as I said. Even on the bench as well. Bully was on the bench.
Yeah, there just wasn't there wasn't really a weak link. There was no one. I think in every position there was, if one was left out or one was injured or suspended, you could bring someone else in, and I don't think it would have hindered the team. I don't think it would have affected it too much. You obviously miss people, but yeah. So we had a great team. Luke Oliver again, absolute giant. He was one you probably just wanted to be a little bit nastier on the pitch. I mean, Santos. Santos was like the quite nicest guy in the world. I'm
really good friends with Santos, actually. Santos is a lovely guy. Like, when he sees it's my birthday or whatever on Facebook, he'll always pop a little message on and say happy birthday. I hope you have a great day and that. Like, yeah.
So, yeah, he's wicked. He was like you could say Mark Hughes as well. So when I was apprentice, Mark Hughes was at Chelsea when I was there, and off the pitch he didn't even talk to anyone.
Okay.
And this was like Santos. Santos was very, very quiet, but it was almost like as soon as you step over the line, he just became an absolute animal. I mean, even in training, if you go up, if the ball went up in the air and the lads were going up for a header, and you heard Santos call, you could literally see the boys like,
shying away. Yeah.
Away, you knew it's not gonna, if there's a 50-50, he's going to go through you. But then that's how he performed on it, on a Saturday as well.
That's right. He was quality, and as I said there, he's a lovely guy as well. He's always got time for people. He's always got time for the fans. He's always had time for the Stevenage fans, and that hasn't ever changed. So
no, where is he? Is he still around, or has he moved? Has he gone back home now? Or
he's out in Brazil now.
Is he?
Yeah, he's back in Brazil now.
Really nice guy. Like I said though, we didn't have any bad eggs there at all, really.
No. And of course, Boydie was in that squad as well, and he was young and up and coming at that point. So, did you guys know that the quality that Boydie had straight away? Sort of seeing him in training every day.
It tells you when you're having a small-sided game at the end of training, and you can actually Stimo let you pick the team. He was everyone's first choice, first pick. And I think looking back, if you had Boydie on your team, you were pretty confident you were going to win. Because he just had he could find a yard of space from nowhere, even in a small-sided game. In a small-sided game, when you can find a maximum of 3-4 yards, he'd find 10. His movement and knowing when to not chase and not follow the ball, and he could just stand still and create space for himself. It was no surprise that he was going to get the move to Peterborough and then go on again.
That's right, and then go into Premier League, internationals. He's had a great career, hasn't he? So.
Oh, mate, unbelievable! But it just shows, doesn't it? You can find them gems in non-league football. Boydie did it. You had Millsy did it. Millsy got his move obviously to QPR.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Stevenage. You got Mikel Smith who did it from Dagenham. Gary Hooper from Grays going off and playing up in Scotland, winning 4 or 5 SPL titles.
Yeah, and then you've got the likes of Grant Holt and Steve Morrison as well, who we obviously spoke about before.
Yeah. Morrow did really well for himself, actually, because I think when he first came in at Stevenage, we just didn't. There was nothing that you didn't really look at Morrow and think, wow, gee, he's unbelievable. But then in a game, I don't think I'd ever seen anyone flick a ball on and then win his own flick on. Flick it, spin it. How many times did he do that? And then it'd be in to cross into his centre forward.
Cross into himself.
Yeah. But he did really well. And a great time. And I remember he bought some pans. He came in one day bragging about how he bought some pans that drain every single little bit of fat out of food. And they cost like a grand. They cost like a grand.
Yeah.
And like a grand for some pot,
pots and pans. And
you think, what the hell? And then you think but again, it's like mentality and wanting to be the best version of yourself you can be. And to him, to spend a grand on something that's going to help his performance and help his, his diet and everything else. And he's gone on and had the career he's had. And I'll never
see. Obviously worked, didn't it? Obviously worked.
Yeah. And I'll always thank Morrow because he was the one that probably got Cambridge to the playoff final.
Yeah.
Because
he missed that chance. He missed that chance, didn't he? Yeah.
He did. But I remember walking off the pitch after the first leg, and I remember Morrow doing an interview with, was it Satanta then? Was it?
Yeah,
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I just remember as I was walking past him and he was doing this interview, I remember his first words to Rebecca Lowe, who was interviewing, was, well, it looks like we're going to Wembley twice. And that was because you'd already made it to the trophy final.
That's right, yeah.
At that point. And I remember just as I walked past, I remember him just going, well, it looks like we're going to Wembley twice. And for me, that was like, wow, okay. If nothing else, like if there's going to be something that drives me on, is anyone writing us off, anyone. And that game was brilliant, wasn't it? The second leg, obviously not. If you're
not from our point of view, but if
you were a neutral at that game, it was phenomenal. I think was it the first couple of minutes, wasn't it, when Rob Wollaston, Daisy went down and he made the save.
I think so. It was in the first. It was in the first 10 minutes, I think. Anyway,
yeah. And then Morrow came through 1-on-1. I think was that first half came through 1-on-1, and then he had the header. He had the header with about 10 minutes to go, maybe, from about 6 yards out. And then he had the one that went straight across right, just couldn't quite reach it. We probably hung on a little bit at times, but it's a great, for a neutral, mate. It was a great game, and I think for me, it was probably the best feeling after a game. I mean, the Burton the year before was to get to the final was good, but that Stevenage one.
I remember coming back. We were coming back on the train, and we were like, "How did we let this one slip away?"
Yeah. You couldn't be greedy. You lot have been to so many finals. It's ridiculous.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
How many playoff finals you had? You had the one because you beat us at Old Trafford when I was at Torquay.
Torquay, yeah, with Moose. Yeah.
You beat us there, didn't you? You've had how many trophy finals? 4, 5, something like that. League One.
Yeah.
League One. It was great. To be honest, it was great to see because I had nothing but positive things about Stevenage. There's other clubs I've been at, and something's coming out on a Cambridge United one of these, and I think maybe tomorrow or Tuesday. And there was one club I went to I just hated, but the Stevenage was it was brilliant. And do you know what? Every time I came back, or every time you guys came to Cambridge, the atmosphere was always brilliant. I loved it. How good was it at Stevenage when Cambridge filled that away end? And it was always.
You look forward to those games, the games against Cambridge, when there's going to be 2,000 away fans. It kind of adds to the atmosphere. It makes it that much more special.
Yeah, definitely. The atmosphere was great. You come out for the warm up, and you could sense it straight away. There's sometimes you come out for a warm up, and there's like 30 people in the ground, especially for me because I used to come out an hour before, bang on 2:00 every Saturday. And you come out, and there might be like, I don't know, 150 people in. Yeah. But when you had the Stevenage Cambridge games, you come out an hour before kickoff, and there's like 2,500 in there already.
Absolutely.
Wow. This is going to be good. It was the same. It was the same with Luton, wasn't it? Luton was the same when we used to play there.
Luton derbies, I think Oxford as well.
Good.
Yeah.
Oxford was always good. Yeah. Always got good reception when I came back to Stevenage. I loved it, and I think that's probably. Mate, I'd like to think it was a little bit of appreciation, and hopefully people saw that although I only played 4 games there, that I pushed and always tried to do everything I could, in the background
and we spoke about it earlier.
Hopefully to make Jules a better keeper.
Yeah, we spoke about it earlier as well, off stream, when we were getting this organised and stuff tonight. None of the goals from any of the games you could say were your fault. It was just that they were goals that you just couldn't do anything about. And in those games, you did make saves and you did contribute to keeping the scores down as well.
I know. I think Jules paid Tubbsy, actually, Matty Tubbs, because it was him that went over me to get me sent off. And I'm sure Jules gave him a little backhander to get me sent off. I'm sure he probably did. But it turned the tide, didn't it? It turned the tide, and like I said, we had a great season overall. I think we finished just one place below the playoffs.
About 8th or 9th, something like that.
I think we were away at Halifax on the last game of the season.
Yeah, and we were on a really good run, and then I think we lost that game, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we just missed out, didn't we? like I said, it's great. I mean, and even the party after the trophy final, it was great. Back at the hotel, just all the families there, and you know, it was a really, really nice bond. Everyone was, it was great. Loved it.
So we've got some more stuff to get through here as well. So, you know, you've mentioned it there. So you left the club to join up with local rivals, Cambridge. Was it sort of important for you to get into that, you know, get that move and to get first team football at that point?
I think for me, growing up in Ipswich, if Ipswich weren't at home, I used to go and watch Cambridge with my dad.
Okay.
For me, Cambridge was always a big club. With a lot of history that I knew a lot about from watching them when I was younger. The other side of it as well was it was 50 minutes door to door. So Jimmy Quinn made it clear that he wanted me and I was going to be first choice. And that was important to me. And I wanted to play for Cambridge. I wanted to. Every time I played there previously, I remember being on the pitch and thinking, you know, I'd love to be here. I'd love to play on this pitch week in, week out. You know,
the Abbey is a really nice stadium as well. And when it's full, you know, the atmosphere is great.
It's brilliant. The fans were passionate, were loud, and for me, in my whole career, that's probably where I felt at home. That was me, that was my home. And when it ended at Cambridge, for me, I was ready just to pack football in. That was me. That was me done. Clung on for another couple of years, but yeah, that was probably the start of the end for me, really, when I left under the circumstance I did. So, but yeah, I just wanted to play. And to be honest, as well at Stevenage, I just felt almost like no one actually wanted me to play. I know that might sound a bit strange, but it was almost like Stevenage was Jules' home. That was that was his home. That was where he'd dug his foundations. That's where he'd started from scratch. He'd built up, and it was almost like that was his home. And I never really felt that I was gonna be able to kind of break in. So I needed a fresh start, and Cambridge was the club that I think I had 4 offers at that point. And Cambridge was the club I wanted to go to. And Stimo asked me made it clear what mistake, because I had a year with a year option. But in my eyes, I think I was 24, maybe 25 at the time, something like that. Or 25, 26, whatever it was. And I felt I needed to go and play first team again. I'd had 4 years previously at Canby playing week in, week out. And I needed to get back playing full time and a club that I really wanted to be at.
And then Kieran's put in there, Santos loved the straight. I don't know what that means.
Loved the straight red, I'm hoping.
Probably. And he's also put what a party as well. Jules has put that party was unbelievable. I'm surprised you remember it, to be fair, AJ.
that was a good party that went on. I don't think anyone wanted to go to bed. No one wanted to go to bed. It was good. It was really good. Back at the hotel, it was just us there as well, which was really nice. Like it wasn't like you'd had 20 lads going out to a bar or a club. It was like
just a squad.
Parents were there, supporters, and going back to the club. Obviously, the actual back to
afterwards.
After and seeing everyone, it was really good.
I remember all of that and the parade and everything as well.
With wicked. That was
trophy. So it was all good fun. It
was actually really, really good turnout for that, wasn't there? Really good.
It was, going through the town and through the old town and that up from the ground, Yeah,
100%, mate. Jules is still playing, mate. He's fit as a fiddle, isn't he?
Yeah, he's we'll probably speak to him later when he goes on to the other podcast stream with the RS Media one with Rye.
Okay.
We'll speak to him a little bit later in regards to some of the other stuff that he did. But obviously he scored, didn't he, for Billericay last season? So
do you know what? I remember seeing that. I think I was on a coach on the way back from the away game.
Yeah.
And I saw that come through on Twitter and I was like, what? Didn't surprise me though. He fancies himself as a bit of an outfield player, I think.
It's a decent header as well, to be fair to him. It was
great
a good
header. Great header. Shame he couldn't hit the target with his penalties like he did that header. That would have been, he'd have earned a bit of money off me then. It's a good lad.
And then we've got some more other bits and pieces here. You know, what was it like? What was I saying there? Yeah. So what was it like being a part of that trophy squad? Obviously, you didn't really get any game time, as we said earlier, but you know, what was it like to go through and to go to Wembley and to know that the club had the possibility of, you know, being the first side to win at the new Wembley, and then the fact that the club did go on and be the first side to win at the new Wembley as well. What was that like?
A great thing to be a part of, isn't it? And the buzz I think I'd had it back in, like, when I was younger with Colchester. We won the playoff final at the old Wembley, but to be at the new one, that buzz of feeling more a part of it was great. You know, the training every day, going in every day, the build up, it was the excitement, and no one knew what it was actually going to be like. And I think with you go in there to the new Wembley.
So how did you feel? Like, you know, when you walked out on the pitch there at Wembley and
amazing,
doing your warm up and whatever.
Amazing. Yeah? Oh, mate, amazing. Yes, it's brilliant. You stood there and you're just looking around and you're like, wow. But it's different at the new Wembley because you're there and there's been no history.
Yeah.
So whereas at the old one, you're like, wow, we won, you know, England won the World Cup here. At this one, it's like, you know, this is creating history. This is, you're part of the squad that's going to win the first ever trophy at this stadium. And then it might be in like 50 years or 100 years time, whenever it is that England win the World Cup, you think, wow, you know, that's something that your family are going to be able to, your kids and that are going to kind of, wow, you know, my dad was part of the squad that won the first ever trophy at that stadium.
That's right. And that's obviously, you know, a great quiz question and stuff as well, isn't it? So...
Of course. Yeah, of course. But it wasn't actually the first competitive game, was it? Because the 21s played there the week before, didn't they?
Yeah. But I think they lost, didn't they, though? They didn't win.
They didn't win, no, they lost. But I remember actually from that game, I remember there was all uproar, wasn't there? I don't know if you remember about the pitch being terrible. The pitch was awful. And you just we got out and walked on it and we're like, how can they say it's terrible? And I remember actually because so I'd warm Jules up, he'd have a little break, and then Scotty'd feed me a few balls, and you know, and I remember going to take off to make a save, and my foot just gave way. And when we looked down, the turf had literally come away. It was probably about I don't know, 20 by 20 inch patch of grass just came right away. So it obviously hadn't knitted in, hadn't knitted in yet. So at that point, I was like, oh, okay. Like that's
what they're saying.
That must be what they're on about. So, but the whole experience, and you just don't want to get off the pitch when you've got the celebrations and
you know you've won. You're going around with the trophy and all that. It's
you don't want to get off. And, you know, seeing this. I remember you just look at faces in the crowd, didn't you? You just look and you see jubilation and on people's faces. It's great. It's what
that was the best one. Like for me, yes, we've won promotion. You know, we've won the conference. I think that's the one that stands out for me because the conference and all of that came after that. So I think that's the one that set the foundation for Stevenage. I think. Yeah.
And I mean, how long had it been since the club had won anything before that? As well,
it was a while. I think the last time was when we won promotion and weren't allowed up because of this ground.
So that's the other thing as well, isn't it? You get to a point when you start thinking, when is it going to happen? When are we going to win something else? And when you see that silverware and you lift it for the first time in a while, it's always special, isn't it? But you guys must have got to the point where it's like, Wembley again. Here we go again.
By the end of it, the fact we had, you know, we done that game, won the Kidderminster one, played York, beat them 2-0 when Steve scored. And then we had so that was the third one because previously the first ever trophy final wasn't at Wembley, it was at Villa Park.
Right, yes.
And we lost to Yeovil. So that was the first one.
When I was at Canvey, we got to the trophy final. That was at Villa Park, we lost to Hensford. So they must have done that for a few years there, did they?
Yeah, I think it was. I
think they did one at West Ham as well. And then they had the LDV. What was John? What was it that you guys got? Didn't you play at Cardiff? Were you at Cardiff as well?
No. The other one was the playoff final when we played at Stoke. we played Carlisle at Stoke. Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
Stoke, yeah.
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 So then, and then the fourth one was the one we lost, but we'd already won the league by that point anyway and been promoted. So that would have just
That's
been
right. Oh,
so.
well.
Yeah,
It's a little double celebration. Yeah.
yeah.
So no,
We
the
could
club
have won that,
time.
to be fair, as well. We could have won that, and we had a bit of bad luck with red card and Griff getting a massive injury. I think it was Robin Holbert. He proper done his jaw. He smashed his jaw all up. So.
Oh, blimey, yeah. No, you've had some good success there, and it's good. I mean, you got there's honest people at the club, the people in the background, and obviously Phil. Got a lot of time for Phil Wallace. Great guy, brilliant guy. Is there any idea what's going on yet with regards to what's happening next season, or is it decision made, or what's happening there?
To be honest, there's nothing new. We're still waiting. It's still, things are coming out that it looks likely that we're going to be relegated, and things are coming out that we are going to be down, and we will have to just build and go again. But there's still the opportunity as well. I think the EFL are fighting the corner a bit, and I think we find out if there's any, anything that comes from the appeal. I think it's this coming week. So
okay, well, fingers crossed, mate. Wish you well with that one. Definitely.
Cheers, Dan.
Deserve to be there, mate. Deserve to be in the league. I know people say league tables don't lie, but what people don't see as well is that you can have a lot of misfortune within the course of a season, or injuries, small squads, whatever it might be. So a lot can. Often a league table doesn't lie come May or come March in this case.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's like at Stonemarket now. I'm goalkeeper coach at Stonemarket. We were like 17 points clear, I think, with 7 games to go, and we hadn't lost all season, and our season gets made null and void. And that and
you can't go up, and that whole season is just doesn't mean nothing.
That would have put us to a level that the club had never been at. So very frustrating.
So your goalkeeping coach then, was it? Is that what you were saying there?
Yeah, goalkeeper coach at Stonemarket now. I've been there this will be my 3rd season. Loving it, absolutely loving it. It's just give me a passion for the game again that I lost for a while, and some really passionate people behind the scenes, and the club's definitely going in the right direction. So it's definitely something that's it's really good to be a part of. Loving every minute. So,
and then what I'll say is, because obviously that's quite a bit lower down than what Stevenage was and everything like that. So what are your thoughts on teams like #United coming up from YouTube and going into the sort of semi-pro game?
I don't know about things like that. It's all the publicity. Everything's just social media now, isn't it? It's just How can you? The thing for me is they could have come up and had a different name to #United.
Yeah.
How seriously are you going to get taken with a #United as a name tag, as a club name?
Yeah.
There's going to come a point where that's going to have to change if they do go on and succeed.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine them going up the football pyramid, and then winning the conference?
Getting into League Two with
United in League Two.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, so I think sometimes things can be kill yourself a little bit and be a bit discredited. But I think it's the lower league, man. Honestly, I wouldn't say I've got no interest in the pro game anymore. I have. I tend to watch it if it's people I know playing. If I've got friends playing in games, I watch it. But other than that, I think the lower leagues, it's certainly at our level. You've got some really really good players. Oh, my battery's going. Didn't do that very well, did I?
That's all right.
You've got some really good players, and I'd advise anyone. If I end up getting a job in at a higher level, definitely there's certainly players lower league that could definitely do a job without a doubt. And I advise anyone who's a fan of football in general, if your team's playing away and you can't afford to make an away game, or you've got something on, or whatever it might be, if you do get the opportunity, go down and watch your local grassroots team, because they need your support more than ever now.
Absolutely,
going on. It's looking like the season's starting on the 5th of September. At our level, but they're still not sure if supporters can come in. And when you're at a club that's getting, I think Stowmarket had 30 people when Rick Andrews, the manager, took over 7 years ago. We're now between 400 and 500. So it's not just the revenue. It's not just the revenue on the gate coming in. It's also the people in the bar. You know, the money that's taken in the bar. So
and at that level, you know, really the clubs rely on. Yeah, no, I was just saying at that level, the clubs rely on a lot of the fans coming in and buying the merchandise, buying the programs, buying, you know, things from actually at the grounds as well, because that goes back into the, you know, the club and to the squad really most of the time, doesn't it?
Of course it does, yeah. So just if people can get down, even if you just got a local team that have got a bar open, and, you know, on a Saturday at the moment while there's no football on, if you can just pop down and, you know, stick to the guidelines, and even if you just buy a beer with a mate instead of if you're going on an evening out or a few beers, pop down to your local club and just have 2 or 3 pints before you head into town or something, because everything's going to make a huge difference. You know, you've got an awful lot of volunteers at clubs as well that are going out of their way to help. So it's important that everyone kind of gets behind them, mate.
And then in regards to, we'll kind of start to wrap things up actually in a minute, but what are your thoughts on Alex Revell coming in and going to be is the gaffer now? He started coming in at the end of last season, had a few games, and, you know, he's got the full season now to, you know, he's already starting to get his squad together, and some of the players that he's brought in and stuff as well, done good for lower league teams, and he's brought in a few with Football League experience as well, with Romain and Ben Coker as well.
Yeah, I think he'll do well. He's a great player, heart on his sleeve always. You know, he was 110%. I think it helps having a younger manager as well. I think
and he's got Lenny as well, like Lenny to lean on for experience. So.
I think players can relate to a young manager as well. I think there's. I think as a young manager as well, you still relatively fresh on how that player might feel in a certain situation, so it's easier to manage and, you know, keep the morale up and put an arm around their shoulder. And football's changed a lot over the last few years, and I think I wouldn't say footballers now are a little bit delicate, but and when I say delicate, I mean they want to be made to feel the best player in the world. And I think having a young manager, I think that probably helps, because with older school, it's kind of like get on with it. You know, younger, you're involved. So I think he'll do well, and I think the players will definitely show him a lot of respect, and should do for what he's done in the game. So he's building a big good squad. I think he signed a lad, hasn't he, from did he sign the goalkeeper who used to be at Braintree?
Yeah, Billy Johnson. Yeah.
I saw that he signed him a couple of weeks ago. And he's got the lad in from Billericay. I saw him play last year. He looked quite lively.
The striker, Femi.
Yeah. So I think if you can get people who, and the thing is, the fans need a boost as well again now, don't they? You know, if it is a case that you've been relegated, if you can get someone on the ball who's just going to run at people, it lifts you. It gives you that buzz. So, yeah, Matt, I wish you all the best. I hope they get back up again if it is a case that you are relegated, and you deserve to be there. But I think he'll do well. I think Alex will do well, mate.
We've got a question here from Rai. What was your reasoning behind the squad number 16?
So, all my children are born on the 16th of the month. And so my eldest she was born on the 16th of October. My middle one, Claudia, was born on the 16th of November. And my youngest, Sienna, was on the 16th of March. And when I bought my first house, it dragged on the completion date, and it ended up being on the 16th that I actually got the keys.
Oh, so it all kind of fits in. Okay.
Yeah, so that's that. Yeah, 16 was that was the reason for it, mate. Yeah.
Okay, and then we've just got one or two more really. So if Stevenage do end up getting relegated and having to play in the conference next season, do you think they'll be able to bounce back at the earliest opportunity? Do you think, with the signings that are being made and with Revs and everything, do you think it's all kind of set in place for the club to bounce back?
It's tough. It's not as easy as that, though, is it? It's a really, really, really tough league to get out of. And I think coming out, I don't think there's been many. I know Fulham have just done it.
Yeah.
From Championship, but to go down and come back up, it's it's tough, and as you know, the conference is a really tough league.
Lots of good teams in there that are Football League pedigree and are, now in the conference and have been there for a number of years.
It's obvious, but it's consistency. It's consistency, and it's been able to lose a game and bounce back again. It's being able to kind of, as a goalkeeper, you can make a mistake. If you keep thinking about that mistake, you're going to make mistake. It's been able to lose a game, wipe it clean, let that one go, move on. Stick to your principles. As long as your principles are right and everyone knows their job within the squad, you'll be fine. It's just and it's so important to get off to a good start, because playing catch up is tough, really tough.
Yeah, and we saw that in League Two. We lost the first game in League Two against Salford, and then it was all downhill from there. Obviously, Dino was sacked early on, and then we brought in Mark Sampson, and then Graham, and then Alex. Lots of chopping and changing throughout the season.
Yeah, and I think it's important to stick as well. I think Alex, being a young manager, I think you need to stick with him. I think whatever happens, unless there's gross misconduct involved or whatever, and I think you have to give him time. You have to. I mean, is anyone different going to come in and do? If you don't go up straight away, would another manager have done it? You'll never know.
No, that's right. And if you look at,
you need to stick with someone and give them that opportunity.
I was just going to say, if you look at last season as well, bringing Graham back for another spell, like the club can't keep doing that. They can't keep relying on somebody like Graham to come back and get us out of trouble.
You don't know what the agreement is, though, do you? You don't know what the agreement. The agreement might be, the club might be trying to save a bit of money, and it could be an agreement that Graham's coming in just to do it to help out until no one knows. No one knows an agreement that's in place. And if you have got someone on the other side of that, if you have got someone who's willing to step in, and take control when, even if it's, agreed that it's going to be a short-term thing, because the last thing you want to do as a player is just come in every day for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, not knowing what the hell's going on. So
for sure.
Just step in the ship, it's great, but I definitely don't think you can keep going back to the same person and trying to give them a permanent role. I don't think that works.
I think it was strange as well, because I think Mark was actually, Mark Sampson was actually doing quite a good job at the time. He was picking up points. He was getting a few more wins, and not wins, but I think he got a couple of the
performances were better, weren't they?
Performances. A couple of the wins that we had were, I think, 1 or 2 of the wins were under him as well. A lot more draws were under him. The foundations were there and were taking shape, and it was a little bit strange to go back and bring Graham in and then change all that again.
I think it's hard, though, isn't it, when things get kind of desperate, when you're looking over your shoulder and you're seeing the bottom 2 / bottom 3 getting closer and closer. You kind of either stick with it and keep slipping, or you feel you need to make a change. And I think a little bit of desperation kicks in, and you're almost hoping that I'll make one more change and then we'll go on a 3-4 game winning run that will be enough to get us out of it. And looks like they've tried that, and it hasn't worked for whatever reason. Whether it's the squad they had, the players they had, whether it got to a point where morale was so low, or
I think it was because there's been so many players in that squad as well. I think the highest squad number, for example, was like 45 or something. It was like loads of players that were being brought in, and the club have made lots of change. The start of this season just gone, and then January the club brought in quite a lot more players again on loan, and things like that. Craig McHale-Smith came in, Adam Alabs came in, a lot of other players came in. Darbo came in, and other ones like that. And
I think you just need to stick to a squad of about probably professional leagues. I think probably a squad of 20, 21.
Yeah.
Because it helps create that, like we had, that real bond behind the scenes as well. That real camaraderie, that real, if you're not playing, that you're on the bench, but you're still a part of it. If you start going to 25, 26, 27 and more, you then start leaving 7 players out of a matchday squad.
Yeah, just in the stand, and they just don't know what to.
How do you get them players back on board? That's tough. But if you've got a squad of, say, 17, 18 even, you know you've got your 11, you know you've got your subs, and you're then accounting for a couple of injuries or suspensions. So you're probably looking at a squad of 20. I think is probably spot on from a financial point of view as well for the club. I don't think you need it. You've got the loan system you can use now. Obviously, you can only sign them in the summer and then January, isn't it?
January, yeah.
So you can't just go out any time of the year and just get someone in for a month anymore. But you have got your windows, and the other side gives the youngsters more of a chance as well, doesn't it? You know, what harm is there in bringing someone through and having them sitting on the bench or training with you every day?
Yeah, and Stevenage have done that. Stevenage are good like that. They've got, a few players that have come through: Arthur Ryington, Louis Fernandez, and Jack Smith and Liam Smythe and stuff. They've been on the bench a few times, and then they've gone out on loan. But Arthur's, I think he's young player of the season the last 2 seasons, or up until this season, just gone anyway.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's great. They're giving the youngsters a chance. I'm sure Alex Ravel will do that as well. Keep bringing them through. It'd be good for the future of the club as well.
And we've got to mention that Stevenage won 3 games this season. One of them was a 4-0 victory at the Abbey at Cambridge.
You can live on that one. We'll give you that. Listen, mate, Cambridge are allowed an off day once every 2 years. That's all right. That's all right. Listen, we must have had a lot of injuries and suspensions that day. That's all I can say. we must have been.
We actually turned up and put a performance in. That's like probably one of the best wins in a number of seasons, not just this season.
Well, sometimes, and that's the frustrating thing, isn't it? Sometimes you can be having a dreadful season, then things just click, and then that's when you need that win to obviously spark you into that's your 3, 4, 5 game winning run. That's the sort of thing you need to ignite that. And if that doesn't happen, unfortunately, obviously you run out of games. But it's difficult if you're only picking up 3 wins in a season, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. So just got one more question for you, and that is just in regards to a little bit about Dream Team. Obviously, you were on the TV show Dream Team a bit as well. How did that role come about?
I was friends with Andy Anser. I played in some charity games for him. And I always used to joke with him when it was when I was part-time with Canvey, and I hated the job I was doing. And I said, "Listen, Ants, look, mate, if you get any extras roles, come up, anything, just give me a shout." And the opportunity came up. There was like a storyline where the keeper, I think there was a coach crash on the way back from a match.
I remember it very well.
Jamie Parker, the keeper, I think got injured or had to go in hospital, and they needed a keeper. They were looking to sign someone. Then I came in as that new keeper. I did it for I think a season, and it was a good laugh. It was good fun. It was a good experience. It was just funny. It was just that you could be in from. You got the same money if you were in from 7 in the morning till 7 at night, or 7 in the morning till 20 to 8.
Oh, really? So literally, whether you were doing half an hour or 12, 14 hours.
It was just an extra, so it depended what scenes you were needed for. But then one day, you'd be sat in the green room with all the actors, and then a girl had come through with scripts, and she'd hand them out to everyone who had speaking lines.
Yeah.
Obviously, they were given to them previously to go away and learn or whatever, but then they were given out in the morning to refresh. And she came and handed me one, and I was like, "I don't need that." She went, "Yeah, you do." I went, "No, I don't." And she said, "Yeah." And I had one line, and I reckon it must have taken about 20 takes just
to get it right. Yeah,
one line, because it's weird, mate. It's weird when the camera, I don't know, 20 inches from you, and there's loads of people stood behind. It's just weird. I've never ever since watched the program and thought, "Wow, he's a terrible actor." Because I was crapping myself, mate, and that's just saying what do you know about being a goalkeeper? That's all I had to say. What it takes. I kept looking into the camera, or I'd swear by mistake.
Yeah,
it was weird because we do our match day, so you could only take over, so the camera could only pick up the Harchester kit over teams. So we'd go and do the filming for match days at Millwall, and it was crazy because you had to watch a screen at the side of the pitch to see how Dudek dived, or whoever it was, a Liverpool keeper, And then
when you had to,
so you go inside, and then you're in an empty stadium, and you've got to make the save, and then you've got to go and react how he did after. So you've made a save, and he's then got up and had to go at his defenders. That's what I had to do. But you're talking in a stadium that's echoing, and naturally, if you're angry because someone's made a mistake in front of you or whatever, you get up and swear. So out, making a save. What are you effing doing? And then they're like, car. And then you got all the rest of the guys just sat in the stand, just crying,
shaking their heads,
just laughing. You could just hear them laughing, and then you'd hear like one of the main actors go, "Potsy, come on, mate, I've got dinner at 6 o'clock," or like, since you've been here, I'm getting home like 2 hours later every day. So yeah, mate. But yeah, it was good. Mate. It was good. Yeah. All
right. Well, we'll leave it there, to be honest, mate. So thanks a lot for your time tonight. We've gone an hour over the 10. You said you would be here for 10 minutes. We've gone an hour over that. So
I thought it'd only take 10 minutes to get through my time at Stevenage. But no, mate, I loved every minute of it. Loved it. It was great. Didn't play much, but had the great man in front of me, didn't I? So what could I do? You know, what could I do?
That's right.
But no, great to be a part of, and gave me my first experience of the new Wembley. So you know, it's kind of part of something that some people never get the chance. And then I was lucky enough to go on and play then myself the following year. So I was familiar. It gave me the familiarity of the stadium and everything else. So, mate, loved every minute, loved everyone there at the club. It was great. And like I said, every time I went back with Cambridge,
Torquay or whatever,
always got a great reception. So, forever grateful, mate.
And thanks a lot, Dan. Thanks a lot for your time. And I'm going to disappear off and watch that Mousinho goal back again.
Of course you are. Enjoy it, mate. Enjoy it.
See you later, Dan. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Mate. Bye,
mate. Bye, bye.